Aloha, welcome Friday night, the 21st. And again, congratulations to everyone for last week. We're hanging in there. We had a 3-2 week. Actually, and a little bit of extra because of the New England game. We said to take the half as long as you got under 7 and then to tease the game. But we also liked the game, but we just weren't sure they could cover that big number, which they ended up doing at 12.5. But in any event, it was a little bit of extra love there. But for the official record, 3-2. And again, we're shooting. We had that 1-5-0 week a couple of weeks ago. I'm shooting for it this week because we've got some very interesting line moves and plays that we've put together for you guys. Before we get started, as you always know, we're going to be hitting you with a little aloha tonight. And we figure with the world in such disarray and everyone so divided, and with all the politics and all the craziness, that what we want to do is we want to give you a little aloha. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your heart, hugs when the spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so that you can believe," especially in the lines, "confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept the truth, and love to complete your life." I don't think that needs any explaining. I think that everyone understands that we need a little bit more aloha in this world, a little bit more grace, and a little bit more understanding, and not so much divisiveness and all this craziness going on. So with that, we'll get into this week. Excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat. We'll get into this week, and as you guys know, we generally give out 5. Excuse me, again, that frog in my throat. We generally give out 5, but this week we're going to give you guys 3 major plays. One of them being our double up because we started last week with the New England Patriots. So we've got our $200 there, and we're going to be rolling it this week into the $400 hopefully range with one of our picks as the double up. So we have 3 major picks for you guys, but also we have a round robin and or regular parlay and or teaser. Again, everybody's different. I'm going to approach it by doing a little bit of a round robin parlay. I'll get into the explanation of that, but I'm also going to do a regular teaser with it, plus and minus the points, and you'll catch on at the end there. And what I'm going to do is my teaser is going to be my total investment in the parlay and the teaser to get back that money to get me even or ahead with those plays with teasing it. But that's because I'm blessed enough to have that extra 100 extra bucks that I can put on that. If you only have very little to super little to play with, what I would say, and you can't even do a round robin parlay, which is a little costly, even at $1 per play or $2 per play on any possible ways. We'll get into the numbers there. But if worst case scenario, you can, we're going to give you the parlay, maybe toy around with them. If it's a 7-teamer, maybe do a couple of your favorite 5s from that 7 and put $5 on those 5 teams, and hopefully you'll get lucky. We are going to incorporate some money line. So in essence, what will happen is it will boost your payouts because we think that there are some live dogs this week for parlay purposes only. We don't expect to bet any serious money on those dogs. We think that they can win outright, but if you're going to take a chance on them, we suggest very little to a parlay, just for poops and giggles, as they say. So we'll get to it in a minute, though. Anyway, but the 3 major plays, including our 2 going to 2 to 4, so we'll have 2 going in on the pick, and hopefully cashing out a 4 doubling up to make that second run that we're trying to do to the end of the season to get to 5 or 6 figures. And in any event, let's go ahead and I want to cover some of the sharp moves first. What we've got going on this week are some huge line moves. One of the biggest standout ones, and for rightfully so. Part of it we know or figure with reporting that it's the Cincinnati New England game. Now that's not one of our picks. It could incorporate into one of our parlays. We'll get to that. But in the Cincinnati New England game, line opened up at New England giving it was like as high as 8.5. But on Thursday last week, I'm sorry, it was at 5.5. It was the look ahead was 5.5, and then it ballooned to where ESPN even had it at 8.5 Sunday or Monday. On Monday, by Monday, it was we use DraftKings and FanDuel now because they're more consistent and more up to date with the moves. But on Monday, the line got down to 7.5. It is now at 7. I've seen as low on a couple of different books at 5.5. So again, a lot of it, the movement is due to the fact that Joe Burrow, the quarterback for Cincinnati, may play in place of Joe Flacco. But we also think that there is some sharp money moves that went on Cincinnati early, and probably because they were ahead of the news that Burrow may actually play. So we figured that it's kind of like one and the same in that instance, in the early line move in the early week. Another move with that line has gone slowly upwards in the total being over. That it's at 50.5 right now, but it has moved 2 points from 48 on Monday to 48.5 to 49.5 on Tuesday, and now as we sit here on Friday, it's 50.5. So that's quite a bit of a big move. Another big one we noticed is 11.5 was what Detroit look ahead was on Thursday last week. Then on Monday it got down to 10.5, so there was some sharp money that went to the Giants clearly, and now it is ballooned to 12.5, and we don't know if that's competing pros or wise guys, or they're buying back from the 10.5 to 12.5, hoping to kind of middle that there. But that's quite a big move, something to keep note of in games like that where there's so much movement and we're so unsure. It's kind of hard because we love Detroit this week for trends. In this spot, Detroit with Dan Campbell, the coach, and Jared Goff, they are like 90+% to win coming off of a loss at home, especially the kind of loss they suffered against Philly last week. That Detroit is really a strong bounce back team, but and there's an above 54% trend of week 11 and later, but not so much. But throughout the season, the last 3 years, and they're on the third year, where favorites of double digits are at like over 50, I think 55%, meaning that it's not huge, but it's a slight edge, and they hold up. They tend to hold up more, and we think a part of that is because of the new kickoff rules and better starting field position and more scoring going on. In any event, it's just something for you to be aware of, and we're trying to give you the most accurate and best information we can. Okay, on the Pittsburgh-Chicago game, there was one little note there that on Monday the line was 44.5 on the over-under, and it's now gone up to 45.5. Not a huge move, but something to keep be aware of, as they say. Some sharp money coming in on the over on that. And finally, on Monday night, it went from Tuesday, 48.5. It is now 49.5. Something to keep an eye on. Generally on Monday nights, the public loves to both bet a home favorite, which San Fran is, and it's because it's 7 or less. It's a touchdown. They feel comfortable that way, and everybody generally likes to root for the over. They just score, right? So be careful there. But we do see that there's a lot of smart money or the guys who really know what they're doing, they're taking Carolina in this game on Monday night. If we have a pick for you, make sure you like and subscribe, and give us a follow, because if we have a late Monday night release, we'll do it Sunday, and the only way you'll be sure to get that notice is if you're subscribing to our channel. You'll get on your phone or your iPad or whatever a notification that there's a new video out, and that would be it. So again, give us a like and subscribe to make sure that you are up to date with all the information as it happens. All right, time to get into it this week. As we said, we've touched all the lines. We avoided on Thursday. To be honest, my personal feeling, I kind of liked Buffalo, because how can you go against Josh Allen, right? And they are kind of in a must-win situation with the Patriots pulling away, and basically leading. Right, and the analytics right now, from what we gather, is the Patriots are the odds-on favorite for the AFC to lock down the number 1 seed. We personally are kind of praying and hoping for Denver for various reasons. Although we do have tickets, our team has tickets on both the Patriots and Denver to go to the Super Bowl. But the way we did it, again, like we showed you guys in week 1, these are exacta tickets. They weren't just single team bets. So we had to put together 2 teams. And so, for example, one of the ones that we are praying hard for, to all the football guys that are there watching over us weekly, we have one where Seattle and Denver meet in the Super Bowl. And if they did, that would be a pretty nice payday, because $10 at the beginning of the year in August, $10, we bet it both ways. So for a $20 investment, we either have a collection of something like, I think it's like 12,000 or 14,000, depending on Seattle or Denver winning the Super Bowl. At that point, we wouldn't care. We would obviously root for the one that makes us the most money, but I'm a Seahawks fan, so I'm kind of torn there. Anyway, so to let you guys know, that's the kind of thing. So with Houston and Buffalo, Houston upset Buffalo on Thursday night. We didn't really look at it as a huge upset, because Houston's defense is legit, and the quarterback for Houston just needed to go out and do his job, as they say. He didn't need to get flashy. He didn't need to be outstanding. He didn't need to throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. All he had to do was not turn it over, not take unnecessary sacks, not put the ball or their field position in jeopardy. And I get it. That's hard enough. But that's all he had to do, versus Josh Allen, who puts his team on his back and runs and throws and does everything else on the field except play defense. And they were still close to the end there with him trying to pull out a miracle. But point being is that, again, with this league, and especially this year, you just never know. And to that point is what we're going into our picks this week. We've done hours and hours and hours of work. We started last week, Saturday, looking at the look-ahead lines already. Sunday, we were really already at work and barely even got to watch the games. We've been looking at everything so hard and gathering all the data and information for you all week long. And with all of that being said, here we go with our 3 picks to start, and then we'll get into our money line and round robin parlay for those of you who want to try and put a little bit to the test to make a big return. All right, pick number 1 this week is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns. For obvious reasons, I've been a staunch supporter of Shedeur Sanders is not a starting quarterback in this moment in time. Now, could he learn and get better? I don't know. Only God knows. But from everything we have seen from the JDSU days to Colorado to now, and that's why we think it's such a joke that pundits who get paid hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, like Skip Bayless, he literally Skip Bayless had a post this past week about how Shedeur's game against Baltimore this past week and what you saw was literally proof of why he should have been gone in the first round. I guess reality is different for people, because his reality and my reality are completely different. I guess hot is cold and cold is hot where he's from, because from what I saw with a 4-16 line, a fumble, an interception, you were handed the lead. Like I just got through talking about the Houston quarterback. All he had to do was not turn it over and protect the ball. And even if you punt, you got one of the best defenses at home, and just don't turn it over. We were literally afraid he was going to get a strip sack fumble that went the other way for a touchdown or a pick six. That's how scared we were once he got rolling there, because he, again, 4 of 16, QBR of like, what was it, 3.5 or 2.5, it's something insanely low. But because he fumbled it, had an intentional grounding, the couple of dink and dunks he did was like 2 and 3 yard passes where the receiver fought for the extra 8 or 9 yards, etc. He kept running backwards. It was just a poop show. And so my whole thing is, all right, everybody, well, he didn't have any first team reps. Well, okay, that may be, but like Joshua Dobbs didn't have first team reps, and last year went into Minnesota and put that team on his back and won a game just having the playbook. And there have been many cases of people not having first team reps. That's what a backup quarterback does in the NFL. They don't get first team reps, but they study, they're in the meetings, they're doing the walkthroughs, they're paying attention, they know the game plan. And so anyway, all that being said, this week, all he got was first team reps. And, again, Dylan Gabriel may not be Cleveland's answer to a quarterback, but the one thing we noticed that he does not do since he started and got the starts is he does not turn it over, and he gets the best he can, or he takes what is given and then lets the defense and the run game kind of carry the load, but he doesn't make the big stupid mistakes. This week, Shadur Sanders and all the Shadurlites will be getting their wish, because he's getting all the first team reps. And again, the conspiracy theories about the NFL and Cleveland are out to make him look bad. Again, it's $1 billion business. Why would you go out of your way to cost yourself money to make your organization look bad? Everybody wants the next Mahomes. Everybody wants the next Purdy. Everybody wants the next Darnold. And why I bring those guys up is because Purdy was the last guy taken in the draft and turned out to be more than enough as a starter in San Francisco. And then you got like Mac Jones, who steps in for him, one of the cheapest backups with no first team reps, and all he's done is come in and won every week that he's played. And then you've got guys like Tom Brady, who became the GOAT behind Bledsoe when Bledsoe got hurt with no first team reps. So again, this guy's got his first team reps this week. And what I don't like about him in particular is the whole give me my praise, tell me I'm the greatest. And he's just walked on the field for the first second and hasn't done anything. Focus on the game. Focus on your job. Stop speeding, getting 100-mile-an-hour tickets for speeding twice in a week and claiming that you're legendary. Focus. Have some humility. Be humble. Focus. Think about the team, not about yourself. Put in the work, and good things will come if you're meant to do this thing. We just don't think that he's cut out to be. So, long story longer, Las Vegas Raiders, here's the thing. We are suggesting you take it at the money line. 3 in the hook is an odd number. We don't like that hook. If you cannot afford to just bet at money line, which is not that bad, it's like a 200 for 100. But if you need to, at least buy back 1 full point and get it from 3.5 to 2.5, so the field goal catches you in. Because as much as we like the pick, and we don't think it's going to be a blow. Look, let's not be honest. Let's be honest. The Raiders are no juggernaut. They're not going to score 45 points against the Cleveland defense, even at home in Las Vegas. What is likely to happen, the way we're looking at this game more than anything, on top of all the analytics showing that Vegas should win the game. Win is important because whoever wins, that's who can cover. But winning the game is the first analytic that we've or benchmark we crossed. The second thing is, as bad as Geno has played, he is a starting quarterback. He's had success in Seattle for a long period of time. He's been in the league for over a decade. He's seen the different defenses. He knows what to expect. And the guy, even when he gets hurt, he's a baller. He stays in there. He hangs in there. And he's out to prove that he can still do it. So whether you agree with that or not, he's got weapons in Genty. He's got a weapon in Brock Bowers. He's still got a couple of wide receivers that are up-and-comers who are trying to break out and make a name for themselves. And he is a starting quarterback in this league. Albeit not a good one this year, he is a starter. And at worst, he's a legit backup. We don't think Sanders is even a legit backup. We think that he is going to be exposed to on Sunday as like the Manziel story, that he was okay in college. He wasn't even great in college. If you really think about it, JDSU is a small school and they play a lot of low level talent at the most part. Whatever team is playing, and their team included, 80% of those guys can't even get a tryout for the pros, is our point. At Colorado, it's a Division I school at least, and 15% of those kinds of guys do get tryouts and excel to try and break into the NFL. When he got to Colorado, all he did was lose. He had like a 4-win season, but he made some throws. He had Travis Hunter on his team, who's an amazing athlete, and he carried some of the narrative that he could play. Yes, at that level. So anyway, we just think that at home, the Raiders on an even money or even no points money line, we don't see Raiders losing this game unless there's something very odd that happens, like 2 special teams and 1 defensive touchdown to boot. And even then, we would like our chances because we think that there's going to be some turnovers and field position gifts on our end, because you've got Max Crosby, who next to Myles Garrett probably is the best edge rusher in the game right now. Those 2 guys are out to prove themselves every time they hit the field. They never not give 100%. And I think Max Crosby, this game, he's going to pin his ears back and try to show the world why he's still one of the best. So the Las Vegas Raiders at money line. At worst, that's our pick. But if you want to get in on it and you can't, or you don't want to do money line, we suggest at least buying back 1 full point, so it goes from 3.5 to 2.5, so you're ahead of a field goal win, because that's what we think it could come down to with these 2 teams and the defenses. We would not be shocked with a 6-9 or 3-9 final. So again, all we care about is the cash out, but it's not going to be a blowout. So if you want an easy win, this isn't it. But that's our first pick. Our second pick is going to be a dog. And so there's going to be a couple ways you're going to play this. We want to take the dog, Arizona, at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The official line is 2.5. We suggest buying a point and making it 3.5, so you get the field goal protection with the hook. But our official pick is going to be Arizona plus the 3. But because we do see lines with 2.5 and we do see lines with 3, so we figure you can get 3. We suggest if you get 2.5 or 3 to get the hook and make it a full 3.5. But 3 is our official stance on that. We also suggest you sprinkle a little bit on the money line, and we'll show you how here in a minute with the parlay by taking Arizona at the money line, because this pick we do think is a live dog and could win the game outright at home. So that's our second pick of the weekend. And our final third pick, and this one is kind of a no-brainer. We regret 2 weeks ago going against them, as you guys know, with the Arizona-Seattle game, because, again, we have now seen that Seattle is much stronger than the books have given them credit for, and still not giving them credit for And we think that Seattle, especially after last week with the 4 interceptions Darnold threw, are going to be pissed off and on the road. As you guys may or may not know already, Seattle is the best road team the last 2 years, only losing 1 out of 11 road trips. They're called the Road Warriors. And for that point, Seattle going on the road to Tennessee, where all they have to worry about is the game and not tickets and friends and girlfriends and wives and kids and all that other stuff going on like they do at home a lot of times. We think Seattle, right now, the official line is minus 13.5. We have seen some 13s. The opening line was 12.5. But that being said, for this segment, Seattle minus 13 is the official pick. We would suggest, yet again, always to buy back the max points you can afford, because 11.5 is much better, or 11 even is much better than 13.5 for obvious reasons. But for this pick, 13.5 is what we're sticking to for the record. Now, what we're going to sprinkle in this week is money line, or some of them the money line. There's one team, Seattle, but you can toy with it when you go to the kiosk or on your phone. Toy with the picks. We're going to suggest a round robin. We'll give you the numbers here in a minute on a round robin. But the teams are, and these are not single picks for you to bet, 1 unit per game or anything. This is a for fun parlay where there's a minimal investment, like a $5 or $10 investment with a max return. Even less, betting $1 by the 3s, $1 by the 4s, and $1 by the 5s in the round robins, because that does add up. There are a lot of ways there's a lot of ways in those numbers. We'll explain it in a minute. But let me give you the teams first. So the teams are as follows. Seattle minus the 13. You put that up at the top because you're the only one that's giving points or taking points. Then you'll want to add to that. There's 7 teams total here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which are Seattle minus the 13, then Arizona money line, Carolina money line, Pittsburgh money line, Dallas money line. You notice those 4 things have in common. They're all dogs. And then New Orleans minus the 1.5 and the Raiders minus the 3 or 3.5. But again, doing this parlay, we would suggest you go ahead and take Seattle minus the 13 and then mix in all the rest. Arizona Cardinals, the Carolina Panthers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys, the New Orleans Saints, and the Las Vegas Raiders, all out also at money line. New Orleans was the only one that we would suggest that you leave it at minus 1.5. But even the Raiders, we suggesting like in our pick to take them money line. Now that's going to be a minus situation, but you have enough pluses or dogs in there that they'll wash out. Now, we suggest you do it how I just said, where Seattle's the one minus points. New Orleans also will be minus points. The other 5 are on the money line. Then, if you can afford it, again, everybody's different. If you can afford it, we also suggest figure out your parlay investment, because there's going to be a wrinkle here in a minute, because round robins are not just one single bet with like a $5. We're going to go on that in a minute. But so figure out your total investment and tease this stinker. So you're taking Seattle plus at a 7.5. So you'd be minus 6. You'd be the Bengals. I'm not the Bengals. Sorry, Arizona would be plus 10.5. Carolina 14.5. Pittsburgh would be 9.5 to 10.5, depending on your line. Dallas would be 11 because 7.5 and the 3.5 they're getting. New Orleans would be plus 5.5, and the Raiders would be plus 3.5. No, 4 would be plus 4, because again, you want to take a teaser with a 7.5 point teaser, and those 7 teams, if you're in total investment is say $280, then we would bet whatever it takes to get to the 280, because you're going to be plus in this situation because there's so many teams, being 7. And if you have to even add another one, we would suggest that take a look at it, and maybe you'd want to add, say, Green Bay at home or the Bengals plus 14.5. but those are not part of what we're just saying. If you're looking to try to get more of a payout, those you can do it yourself. Figure out some things. Here's what we're trying to get to. So at a 7-teamer, a round robin, you'll have 35 ways to make a 3. You'll have 35 ways to make a 4 and 21 ways to make a 5. If you bet $1 of every 3-way, that's $35. $1 every 4-way, that's $35, and $1 every 5-way at $21. You'd end up spending $91 basically on that. But the $1, the 3-ways would basically equal $595 if you hit them all, which that's not what we expect. We expect you to hit a few, but it's $595 for the 3-ways. It's $1,575 for the 4-ways, and $2,400 and change for the 5-ways. We went as far as to go, we liked it at $2 a piece on the 4s, and that would get you $3,148. What our point is that you're not going to hit all 7. But if you could hit a few of the, maybe a couple of the 5s, a few of the 4s, and a third to half of the 3s, let's say 5 of the 7 teams win, you're going to do all right. You're going to get back more than what you're investing into this. And again, at $1 for every 3-way, $1 for every 4-way, and $1 for every 5-way, it's $91 investment. So we're taking that 91 and then add in whatever the teaser at, let's say, 100, and if you got back, just hypothetically, you would be getting back the $291. Now you're getting your full investment back for the teaser and the parlay is our point. And so the teaser is kind of to help offset the parlay, because, and again, with the parlay, again, with the round robin, you have to decide what our approach is. We're going to do it like I told you: Seattle minus the 13, New Orleans minus the 1.5, and then the other 5 teams at money line. Then we're also taking all of them at the whatever official posted points are for all 7 teams, and again, 5 of them being dogs, or I'm sorry, 4 of them being dogs. But with like the Las Vegas Raiders, we would buy back the max 2 points. The New Orleans Saints, we buy back, say if you buy 2 points, so you're plus a half, so all they have to do is win. Dallas, you'd buy a couple of points, at least 1 point, so you'd be plus 4.5, which is a key number. Pittsburgh, you'd want to get it over 3.5, so that's a key number. Carolina, you'd want the max, whatever you can get. And Arizona, at least a half a point, so you're at 3.5 as a key number. And Seattle, you'd be down to like 11 or 11.5, buying back a couple of points. So again, toy with it. These are just suggestions on what you can do. But what we really wanted to drive home to you tonight is this 17 parlay that you could even expand to 8 or 9, where we would add on the Bengals and then Green Bay if you went 9. But the more teams you add, the more expensive it gets. And again, with the Bengals, you'd want to do the money line because there's a chance they could win that game outright in a shocker. Again, toy with it, see the payouts. Again, for what we do is we're going to approach it with the 7-teamer with $1 on the 3-ways, $1 or $2 on the 4-ways, and $1 on the 5-ways. And so it would cost us anywhere from 91 to add 35 more bucks, so $126. It would be kind of the max investment in that, etc., etc. Okay, so you guys kind of get the main gist and crux of it, right? So there you go with that. So our 3 main picks this week, again, recapping: the Raiders at money line, Arizona to get them to +3, but again, we suggest you always buy the hook, so it's on a key number like 3, which you get 3.5, and Seattle minus the 13.5 is our double up play for the week. And again, you all the different teasers we talked about, all the different parlays, mix and match, so that just here, like for instance, a suggestion here. One of the teasers we looked at would be Seattle and probably the Bengals, but you could Bengals or Green Bay, whichever one you like better. But Seattle would be minus 6.5. Green Bay would be plus a half a point basically, or the Bengals would be plus 14.5. Arizona plus 10.5. Carolina plus 14.5. Pittsburgh plus 10.5. Dallas plus 11. And New Orleans and the Raiders again would both be in the plus. But a teaser for that right there at $50 would get you a return of $3.25. So to give you kind of an idea, you can work a teaser to where it's almost a parlay teaser. So you plus a lot of points with a 7.5, but if you pick enough teams, it gives you a parlay or odds type return as well, especially some of those being the dogs and stuff. So again, take a look at that. It's just something that we're having you guys toy with and suggest. One other suggestion, that we don't give you guys college yet this year. We're going to break into there hopefully next year. But if you guys have a service or a guy that you guys listen to, a person you guys listen to that gives you really strong picks all year long, and they're giving you, say, a barking dog, a huge dog that they think can win outright type situation, mix in that one from Saturday with these guys on Sunday, because those money lines on even like a 3-dog money line, depending on how big the dogs are, especially like let's say tonight, let's just use this example. This is not our pick. We're just using it as an example, a hypothetical. We wouldn't mind taking Hawaii straight up. They're plus 3 points. But so take Hawaii on the money line, college tonight, right? And then add in Arizona on Sunday money line. And then say one of our suggestions toying with it would be like Dallas. And remember, we always tell you guys to mix in Monday night, because then you can reverse or roll it or flip it or try. So we would either suggest you take San Fran on the money line, because you could then build Carolina and take a huge point spread, or you could just take Carolina money line and take your chances. But then you would have to figure out a way to bet at least your investment on San Fran. And I know San Fran was like minus 350 or 300 or 350 to get the 100. So it's not a cheap bet back to try to offset it. But our point being is that with Hawaii as the money line, Arizona as the money line, Dallas as a money line, and then say Carolina as a money line, 4-team dog all money line parlay, the return on something like that would probably be 16 or 20 to 1. So it wouldn't take a lot. $50 would get you 1,000, and you could bet definitely $350 on Monday and take San Fran, so that there's no way you lose money at that point. You're free rolling. Although, like I said, I would take it with San Fran on the money line being the favorite at home. Just take a money line on the parlay. It brings down your payouts for sure, but you've got more to work with on offsetting it Monday night. So that one, let's say the payout you're looking at, say, $400 to $500 in the face on Monday night, but it only costed you, say, $50 or even less, $20. You could then bet, say, 100 on Carolina plus 7 and buy a half a point. And now you win, as long as it's anywhere between San Fran tying them to winning by 7, you win both sides of the bet. And if you only take them at the 7, say Carolina at the 7, one ties and one wins. But you've got a big middle there, is our point. And so maximize, use the house money, be smart, be tactical, and take advantage of all the numbers that you can. So again, our 7-team money line we're calling it a money line parlay because there's 4 dogs in there that we're suggesting you take the money line, but with Seattle and New Orleans giving the points, and although Raiders are a favorite, we're saying to take them on as a money line in that parlay. But again, our 3 picks: Raiders at money line, Arizona plus the 3.5. We're suggesting you buy back a point or 1.5, and then Seattle at minus the 13.5. But even then, I always suggest you buy back points if you can. And then that's our 3 picks. Our double up is Seattle. And then our 7-game parlay with the round robin is Seattle minus the points, and Arizona money line, Carolina money line, Pittsburgh money line, Dallas money line, Las Vegas Raiders money line, and New Orleans also minus the 1.5 points for your. And then we're suggesting you play it by 3s, 4s, and 5s. So other than that, we hope and pray we hit that 7, and that would make everyone's Thanksgiving so fantastic this year, that it would be awesome, and we would be so happy for you guys. We're working on getting something in the works for direct contact for we're gonna do a kind of a concierge thing, specific. We'll only carry like 20 to 25 clients that we give our 1 a week type thing, or our high end plays. We're still working on that, where that you could have a direct phone number and speak to me directly, so we could walk you through everything to make sure that you completely understand what to do, especially when it comes to stuff like these parlays. But anyway, give us a few more weeks to get that up and running, because we wanted to show you guys this year what we're about and break into the upper echelon next year. So we're not in a big rush, but we do think that by the end of this year, if we're doing and keep going the way we've been going, that we're really going to want to make sure that you guys are covered with our playoffs, because that's when we shine and excel the most, because the season's over. You've got all the data from all the teams, all the information you can and have and need, and we become very, very accurate in the playoffs, and especially during Super Bowl. So again, we'll keep you guys up to date on that, and we're very excited for that. But other than that, again, we've covered the sharps moves for you guys, so just be aware, be careful, but as always, be good to yourselves, be kind to each other, good luck, and aloha and mahalo for checking in, and we'll see you guys either Sunday for our Monday if we have one. If not, we'll see you at Tuesday or Wednesday for the wrap up. Aloha!